It appears the Georgia Bulldogs are once again trending for the nation's top-ranked running back prospect. Georgia obviously signed the top rank back in 2018 with Zamir White. They almost did it in 2019, but came in second to Alabama for Trey Sanders. Fast forward a few years, and now in the 2022 class, Branson Robinson is Georgia's top target, and he is a Nick Chubb clone. The guy is 5'11", 220, an absolute bowling ball of a running back. Checks all the boxes, moves so well, changes directions with ease for a guy at 220 pounds. And I'm starting to think that the Bulldogs have quite the lead now for the nation's top-ranked running back prospect. If you don't know who he is, that's okay. I believe the recruiting services had him ranked a 3-star for the longest time, but one of the top recruiting services recently made him the nation's top-ranked running back prospect, and that's where Georgia has him on their board as well. Even when he was a 3-star, Dell McGee loved Branson Robinson. He's been a top Georgia target for a while now, and I do think that they have a sizable lead because I caught up with Branson Robinson earlier this week, and he told me, quote, "Coach Smart and Coach McGee talk like we've known each other for years now. We talk about way more than football, and sometimes they just want to know how my day's been." And yes, they talk about the rich tradition of developing and producing big-time running backs to the NFL and how Coach McGee has a special relationship with all of them still to this day. He also told me that he hasn't visited the campus in person yet, but he's done a recent virtual tour with the staff where they talked about academics, strength and conditioning, and their offensive scheme. He also says that he talks to Coach Smart and Coach McGee almost every day. They've been recruiting him as well as you can. And they've told him, hey, I don't know if you watched us last year. I'm sure he did, but they used 5 different running backs. And when they were all healthy, they all got a good amount of touches. So this is a guy who's looking to play early. He's good enough to play early. Wherever this guy goes, whether it's Georgia or Alabama or Mississippi State, I do kind of think it's a Georgia-Alabama battle here, but he's going to play. Like I said earlier, when you watch the film, it's outstanding, by the way. In just 9 games, he rushed for close to 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, had one game with over 280 yards and 5 touchdowns. The guy can be unstoppable, and when you're 220 pounds, you're going to break tackles on your own. And I hate to compare him to Nick Chubb, who might be the greatest running back on planet Earth right now. Maybe Derrick Henry is, but if it's not Derrick Henry, it's Nick Chubb. But coming out of high school, Nick Chubb was 5'10", 215. 5'11", 215. Branson Robinson, 5'10", 220. So very similar as far as their height and weight goes. But man, Branson Robinson really, really runs well and moves, changes direction so well for a guy 220 pounds. Again, he can bounce off tackles just because of how big and strong he is, especially in the lower body. But his vision, the ability to cut back, find a hole, and then burst through it is something that you see from guys 180 pounds, 185 pounds. And even then, that's really good for them. So when you watch him run, you watch his highlights, it's hard to believe that he's 220 pounds because he is flying. I mean, he's outrunning angles. He's faster than linebackers and defensive backs. The guy really has it all, and that's why Georgia's recruiting him. If you follow Georgia recruiting, if you're watching this video, you probably do. But I've covered Georgia recruiting for 5-6 years now, since 2014, and they go after the very best. We see it year after year. They almost got Zach Evans. Probably could have had Zach Evans out of Texas. They went and got Kendall Milton out of California. Zamir White from North Carolina, and then occasionally they'll grab the in-state back that they like too. So they have no problem going anywhere because this is running back university. I mean, it is. It kind of always has been, and it still is to this day. And it's a loaded group once again in 2021. But Zamir White is leaving. James Cook is leaving. Kenny McIntosh could stay around. Kendall Milton will be in his 3rd year. But they're going to need another guy to come in and fill the void of Zamir White and James Cook. And Branson Robinson is definitely that guy. Just does so many things well. And as it relates to his recruitment, Georgia's told him, hey, you can come in and see some early playing time because he is SEC ready right now. He's an absolute warrior in the weight room. Another reason that you can compare him to Nick Chubb. Not only are they, again, like I said earlier, the same type of stature, height, and weight, same type of running style, but they're both incredible in the weight room. That's where they're leaders. They're leaders not only in the weight room, but on the field as well. But teams come together in the offseason in the weight room. That's how a lot of teams gel and get to know each other and build that team chemistry. So you have to have that leader there. and Branson Robinson is going to do that. He is right now for his high school, and he will be wherever he decides to go in college. That's just how good he is. So right now he's the nation's #1 running back according to Rivals. I believe he's a 4-star over on 24/7, but the film speaks for itself. He was buried behind guys as a sophomore over in Mississippi at Germantown High School. Last year he took the reins and was the guy, and again, in just 9 games, it was absolutely running over teams left and right. There were only 3 games last year where he did not eclipse 100 yards. There were 2 games where he eclipsed over 200 yards. And again, he's not going to be brought down by just one guy, too. He's got the big, strong legs. He will bounce off of guys, and he has enough speed to outrun them as well. So when you're looking for a guy who checks all the boxes, Branson Robinson is your guy, and I do believe that Georgia is the team leading in his recruitment right now. So again, if you're trying to find the latest on Branson, there's going to be a story later this week on Dawg Post with those type of quotes and much more. I've got quotes from his coach. Of course, when I reach out to someone, when Dawg Post reaches out, we get feedback almost immediately because that's just what we do. So I talked to Branson Robinson. There's going to be a full update on him, along with quotes from his coaches, everything you need to know about the nation's #1 running back. It's going to be over on Dawg Post. So guys, I appreciate y'all watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next video coming up right now, and I will see you over on the website.